Hello, and welcome to Heroes of the Mist, a live, actual play, Advanced Dungeons & Dragons 1st Edition, homebrew multiverse campaign for RPG Research, the non-profit 501c3 studying the effects of all role-playing game formats and their potential to help various populations achieve their educational, recreational, and therapeutic goals. I'm your game master and host, Hawk Robinson, and founder of RPG Research. I've been gaming since the late 1970s, and I'm a recreation therapist, and we're here in Spokane, Washington, this October 14th, 2018. This show streams every Sunday from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. Pacific Time. We have most of the cast here, but we do have one person remoting in currently, with Joe coming in from Seattle. But I'm back now from a 26-day tour, the RPG tour. You can read about that at rpgtour.com. And if you want to see the misadventures of video and photo footage, it's on Instagram, but you just go to Twitter at RPG Tour and see all the fun. But I just got back to this house today.
Woo! Welcome back.
With the wheelchair-accessible RPG bus and RPG trailer, which you can check out at rpgbus.com and rpgtrailer.com.
Or right outside.
Or right outside if you're in the area. And, of course, RPG Research is at rpgresearch.com. We hope you will donate. Now, this is an audience interactive show to some degree in that if you come to our Twitch channel, twitch.tv/RPG
Research.
More enthusiasm than that.
Twitch.tv/RPG
Research!
Thanks for the Eeyore. First of all, you can click on donate, but on the rpgresearch.com website. But if you come and hang out in our chat room, you automatically accumulate, as long as you have an account, hero points. And you can get bonus hero points by sending people to watch the show. They join, you tell the moderators will give you bonus hero points. You can say nice things in the chat room. Say, hey, that's really great, really supportive stuff. The moderators may give you bonus hero points. You can tweet and share us on various social networks and show that to the moderators. They'll give you more hero points. And you can donate, and you'll get a ton of hero points if you donate, because after all, that's kind of the point of the show. So part of the point of the show is to show people just a normal tabletop role-playing game experience without it being hugely staged. We're not doing cosplay and all that, because I've done all that, and that's fun, and that's great, and that has a wonderful value. It adds a great entertainment value for the audience and such. But I also want to make sure people actually understand what a role-playing game actually is. There's a lot of misunderstanding and misinformation about what it is. And so we try to keep it fairly close to that. I'm using whiteboards. We're not using something like Fantasy Grounds or Roll20 or something like that. We're rolling actual dice. We're using paper and pencil. And we're trying to represent what a typical experience is with a homebrew campaign, not a published module, and to try to encourage others to understand what this experience is, and also a fundraiser for RPG Research. So if you donate, lots of bonus hero points. But what's the point of the hero points? Well, the hero points let you... What's that?
What's the point of the points?
What's the point of the points? Because these points do matter, unlike, maybe Whose Line Is Anyway, where the points don't matter, right? You can spend these, if you go to mistheroes.com, you can click on the audience interaction section, and there's a catalog there listing how many points and what you want to spend it on, and you can make lives more interesting for the heroes in the adventure. So it ranges from little encounters of animals and people and soldiers to earthquakes and volcanoes and
you can send us a helpful NPC.
Or helpful, right? Well, somebody, yeah, exactly. It can be helpful stuff. In an interesting twist, because this is the first group that's done this, because now 2 group members have done it. Some of the players have donated to get hero points and have spent hero points to help their characters. And I'm like, okay, I didn't technically say they couldn't do that, so all right. That's
not in a manipulative way, but
in story appropriate. It didn't overpower anything. It was creative and clever, and kudos to those of you who did.
We all have cell phones now.
And bonus to everybody. It was helpful for everyone.
It did help everybody, and you can't spend and say, it must be this. You can say, I spend it on this and would like it to be this. Now, the game master, that would be me, ultimately decides if that's appropriate or not. But once you spend the points, you post that in the chat room. The moderators will go ahead and deduct that from your account. Once they've verified that, and if it's a donation, you can get thousands of bonus points, depending on your donation. Once they verify it and what you request, then they pass me a little note saying, hey, such and such has requested you do this. And then I will, as soon as I can, as close to real time in the story without disrupting the story, insert that in, whether it's an encounter or an event, what have you. And if it's at all possible to give a name to it, so if it's a critter or a person, I try to in some way, if possible, and where family-friendly appropriate, make your username fit the creature or person in some way. So, for example, Dark Monkey requested that an animal show up, didn't specify what the animal was. I went ahead and we had a little encounter with a little dark monkey. Somebody else had a username related to a type of dog, so I went ahead and gave the description of the dog looked like a little well-rounded kind of little chibi dog because it kind of fit the username. So do the best I can to fit those when possible. No guarantees, but we do what we can, and that's a lot of fun for people. And some people will keep donating to keep having stuff happen and accumulate more points. So that's where that helps out. So. Let's go ahead and do some quick introductions around to everybody.
Hey there, I'm Adam. I'm playing a human thief named Torn. And he's ready to get up from the sticks, and he's out for adventure, and he sadly found it, and it's a lot wetter than he expected.
I am Lillian. I am playing River. She is a sea spirit folk, Wujen martial artist. She follows the Lord of the Sea, Ryujin, who is a dragon who controls the tide.
I'm Katie Coonan. I'm playing Moisha Turtlebomb. Moisha is a tailor by trade, out to seek his adventures to win the heart of his lady love, and he's currently having some significant second thoughts about this plan.
This fall, one role player named Andrew will attempt to do his character's voice justice with damaged vocal cords. His character, a gnome named Tuck, who fancies himself the future most famous illusionist in the world. Or worlds, as this world may be.
Indeed.
And yeah, that's it.
Nicely done.
Nicely done.
I can do a pretty good
Okay.
voiceover movie.
Yeah,
movie trailer. I can
you
do a
do
movie.
that well.
I can do a pretty good movie
Spent
voice
20
trailer.
times.
Movie trailer
I talk.
voiceover?
Yes.
And
Me speak
spent
English
enough
big.
points to cover.
Big English.
Yeah.
But
Same.
I can do a pretty good one normally, but with my gravelly voice right now,
I can do it. This is a good time
it's
to do
added
it.
just an extra little level.
A little
there.
extra level of gravitas.
Mm-hmm.
Nicely done.
Thank you.
Bill is not here. He has decided to step down from the group. But his character's not going to just suddenly disappear, and I'm not going to just kill off his character. Like, oh, that'll teach him to leave. No, nothing like
Not
that.
just smited by Odin.
He didn't feel that the game system style or the particular campaign style was quite what he was looking for. And that's fine. That's understandable. That's the nice thing is there's a great variety to this activity. And you just look around and try to find the group and campaign and GM that fits for you. We'll miss him, but we're grateful. We're grateful for the time he was here.
What could possibly go wrong?
Exactly, it's science. He's been a wonderful contribution to the group, and we really enjoyed him. John is going to play his character for now.
As a mute.
Yeah. John is, of course, assistant GM, but he also helps fill in for additional NPCs so that I don't have to pull a Gollum, a Smeagol Gollum conversation back and forth all the time.
That's
Sometimes I will still have to do it, but instead of all the time when there are many NPCs, especially like
It gets awkward when two characters are making out.
Yeah. So John's going to be playing Weevil as well as the occasional other NPCs.
Well, science!
Yeah, and he will transition out in the next session or two. We've got, I think, a good story-appropriate transition for him. But I didn't want him to just suddenly go poof and not be here because he's been such an important part of the story. And he may make appearances later on because this story transition is appropriate to the larger goals of the campaign. So we'll see what happens.
Although,
yes.
One sad thing about, it's nice that we're giving his character a chance to segue out and not just killing him, but
yes.
It's also so valuable in a story to have a team member die fairly early in
Are you volunteering?
Yes. Yes. But arbitrarily, no.
No.
Needs to be appropriate.
But yeah, a
the
dramatic...
GM going, you're leaving? Delete.
a,
Nah, that's arbitrary.
yeah, but, a dramatic...
Yes. And if he had gone out in the blaze of glory, that would have been fine too. I've had that happen this campaign many times.
I'm happy to have his character move on, but if it takes forever for us to actually fully unify as a team, I'm blaming that.
He's our leader.
Okay, because he was the self-proclaimed leader of the group. Yes. Joe.
Hi, I'm Joe Quinn. I'm playing Ferhog Gwerion, who is a half-elf. He's the youngest son of a family with 8 children, and he's the only half-elf, so that happened. He's also half fighter, half thief, and his career path has taken him to help his grandfather enforce contracts of sale for the finest, if not the largest, weaver in all of Iridia.
Finest and largest, why not?
Oh no, it's not the largest.
I do want to
not
remind you
rich
guys, when he's talking, when you guys talk amongst yourselves, it's all broadcasting, and you can't hear him talking very well. That's something to be aware of about when he's talking. I notice that happens a lot when he's talking. People here start doing conversations amongst themselves for whatever reason, because he's not physically here. It's all on the mics, and it all blends together into just two channels, and it often...
Sorry, we try to not do that, but...
Yeah, it just happened.
Yeah, I know.
So that was a reminder. So remember to take turns. If you
Honestly,
have to...
I'm pretty boring, so...
No.
Also, I'm having sinus issues, so the volume of my voice might not be quite what I think it is.
It's fine.
Okay.
But if you really have to talk to like something you'd say, then go ahead and cover your mouth, whisper it to them. Just keep it quiet if you have to while somebody else is talking. That was something I really noticed when I was remoting in. There was a lot of crosstalk. I was like, oh my goodness. Okay, good to know. And I don't know how much of that was just because I was remoting in. I don't know.
No.
It was definitely your fault.
I notice it when I am remote as well.
Good to know. All right, so just be aware of that. And it seems to happen the most when whoever's remoting in is talking. When somebody here is talking, it doesn't seem to happen as much. So just be aware of that.
Must be subconscious.
I think there is. I think, again, we as human beings sense that he's not physically here. And so that's why it's not satisfying to play with role-playing gamers over the internet. It's better than nothing. But why every gamer, most gamers
Take that
I've talked
to heart, Joe. You're better than nothing.
He's just a television character.
But I interview many gamers for our research and such, and there's always a feeling that something's lacking with those remote games. It's like, hey, it's great. There's some great games. I have some great experiences, but it's not quite the same as when we're physically here at the table.
I see it as not necessarily missing something, but as just having a different flavor.
So that might be your experience.
Yeah,
Most of the people I've interviewed say they feel like there's something missing, that it isn't quite there.
Maybe it's because I
human
started
connection
there.
Okay.
So
The smell of body odors. Not really.
But there is a lot of body language that doesn't always show up in the camera, and we're just wired. It's a little bit different when you're looking at
Right
screen.
now we can't see Joe flipping us off.
Does he have pants on? Does he not have pants on? It's a mystery.
Well, then again, for the people at home, we could all be pantsless as far as they're concerned.
Anyway, okay,
It's not
so
family-friendly.
also behind the
There's nothing
scenes,
wrong with we're not wearing pants. We're wearing shorts.
behind the scenes, we have Dan, who's helping run some of the AV stuff here, and he's also been helping with the artwork and such. And did I see you were just doing some more updates on the because we really got to get that going so I can get the real-time artists to come in. All of them want to see the baseline artwork, and then I've got people queuing up again. We just got to get that going now that I'm back in town. I've been gone for almost a month. And we also have Pyro behind the scenes helping as well, who also knows a lot about the Twitch stuff and is running all that stuff. So thank you guys. We're all volunteers, 100% volunteer-run organization. Nobody here is paid. Thank you all so much for taking the time to do this. I hope you're having a good time. And thank you for putting up with the technical challenges and other issues that kind of interrupt the flow of the fun compared to a normal game. I really appreciate you guys doing that. I don't know if I've had a chance to thank you all for that. So, all right.
Thanks for the opportunity.
I'm so glad. So the last session, you guys were traveling. You had seen some unpleasant, so previously on Heroes of the Mist, you had seen the session before an entire small military force wiped out by bolts of energy from the sky. You did acquire a bloody mule in the process that survived, and you kind of healed it up. You used some of your valuable healing herbs on the mule because you really wanted a mule. The example of players spending points
Or
on
one of us used his.
But it does help the party.
To make
But it does help the
a
party.
mule, yes.
Having a pack animal really does help
Just
the party over time.
Don't put that on all of us.
Okay.
We like the mule.
Yes.
Don't get me wrong.
I think he's being mulish about this.
So, anyway, you guys
being an ass.
traveled northeast. You again bypassed another small village because there's only one human in the party, and you are in a highly xenophobic area of the countryside where if you're non-human or even just from another country, the denizens here tend to freak out like torches and pitchforks, not pitches and torch forks.
Actually, I'd like to see that.
Yes. And as I said, I just got back from this 26-day road tour today. I am not running on all cylinders again, but yeah. So this could be interesting. Very little sleep. The last 3 days, very little sleep. A little more today, but so I might have my merds all mixed up, bulking backwards. So you guys are trying to make it to the village of Kasarnik to try to deliver the scroll to the lady at the village of Kasarnik. And as the sun was setting, it broke through the clouds in the distant west and beamed onto the mountainside. You saw in a little small valley here in the hills nestled at the base of the Dragonspine Mountains. This large white house up on the hill, just a big long rectangular house with kind of a deck hanging off the back of it over the cliff, up 500 feet up a cliff, up on the mountainside, and below it a small sprawling village. So that's you guys. You're showing up, you're kind of like right about here, because you were taking this road. So you guys are basically right about here on the road. When you saw the sun come beaming through, and just kind of bathe it all in setting sunlight and such, burst through the clouds. It was kind of like, oh, you finally arrived at the village of Kasarnik. I mean, we've been running this campaign now for what, 4 months, 3.5 months?
Since June.
Yeah.
Since June. 3-hour sessions. We've had a lot of technical issues that have slowed down the progress. We probably would have gotten here a little sooner, except for some technical issues. But it's been a long haul for your characters. Your characters have been through a lot of misery. You've seen death, plague, just all horrible, muddy, cold, icky weather, freezing temp, just people blown to smithereens, all kinds, prejudice of all kinds, and it's been a long trek. And really, the adventure's just barely started. This is a big long campaign, and it's barely started. But at least you finally reached.
We're almost out of the pilot.
Right, yeah. You finally have arrived at your first milestone, if you will. We use project management language here and such. And so I just want you guys to take a moment to let that sink in, that you finally are looking at the village Kasarnik after all this time. In game time, it's still been weeks. Weeks of travel, of fear, of dodging patrols, of killing patrols who were coming after you, of evil cats, and maybe not so evil cats, which we'll talk about a little bit later, of some questionable moral conflicts, of lots of internal party conflict, and a lot of challenges in just a few weeks of adventure and in a few months of real-life gameplay. So just take a moment and think about that and take that in, that you're finally here, Village of Kasarnik. What? We got some emojis going on here. Oh. Torch forks. What's that? Yeah, it was torches and pitchforks, or who did that?
Pitches and torch.
Pitches and torch forks. Yes. Who did that?
I drew two little buckets of pitch and torch forks.
Pitches and torch forks. That works.
They're like
yes.
pitchforks, but they got torches
Yeah,
at the end of
that
the
works. You need to stick that in front of the camera there. All right.
And, I'd be really concerned if villagers came at. I'd be more
Yes.
concerned with pitches and torch forks.
Yes.
Because pitch burns,
Yeah.
and they got multiple fires
Sticks,
to
yeah.
set them.
Okay. So it is October 19th. I don't think we really nailed down the date recently. Your
No.
characters. It's in the game.
Okay.
Oh,
Real world's October 14th. I already said that at the beginning. In the game, it is the equivalent, whatever country you're coming from, whatever. But just so you have kind of an idea of the weather and all that, it's the equivalent of October 19th.
So this
For
is
your
the
characters.
closest that we have ever come, or probably ever will come,
To the dates
to
matching
the dates
up.
matching.
Oh, you never know because the time compression can happen. So it can all of a sudden, like a year goes by, and all of a sudden it's the same. You never
True,
know.
but
These
still.
things are, yeah, it happens sometimes. It's kind of weird. Sometimes campaigns will almost parallel like the real world weather and stuff. It'll be weird. Sometimes that'll happen.
well, the GM's just like, this is raining now.
Today, yeah, it's raining outside. Let's have it raining in here. Sure.
They'll happen to be running into a vampire during close
During
to
Halloween, yeah, exactly. Well, and that
Yes,
is
don't use a vampire.
How many points do we get for Twitch Prime subscriptions?
They suck levels.
how many points do we get?
4 points. Yeah.
That
How many what?
is probably
How many
more
hero
terrifying
points do
than
we get for
dying.
Twitch Prime?
Oh, to give them.
If we get a subscriber.
The first
Oh,
campaign
what do
I
we
played
give them
my
as
DM
hero
was
points?
like,
Oh, is
"Do
it
you wanna be a
$5
vampire?" I was like,
that they pay?
sure.
That's what the donation, but Twitch Prime is
I had
a
no
monthly
idea what
thing.
that meant. Absolutely
Okay, so
not.
what do we
And
get
of course,
for
it's not like
PayPal?
actual, like official
$5.
vampire
Patreon,
thing.
50.
It's
I know
1,000.
that Patreon is a lot more.
Yeah, Patreon's a lot more because that's straight to us and such. The other stuff doesn't go to us.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, how
Price
about
factor?
so how about half as much as the PayPal $5 one if it's the equivalent of $5?
Okay.
Does that seem fair? I'm
Yeah.
flexible.
Yeah.
It should be PayPal should be more because that goes straight to us.
Mm-hmm.
So it should be more than the Twitch thing because the Twitch stuff doesn't go to us. Or if it does, there's like a tiny.
Half of the Patreon, PayPal.
No, half the PayPal. Well, Patreon's different than Pay. So PayPal one shot is 10 times less than the
Patreon.
Patreon monthly or PayPal monthly because monthly helps us more. So it'd be half of the PayPal $5 a month. Round up.
Okay. So
What is the $5 PayPal
Yes.
one time?
I think 50.
So 25.
You're like,
Okay.
Is that okay?
You're like,
Okay.
pass.
I'm flexible on this. I'm not. We're figuring this stuff out.
Speaking of flexible,
Yes.
you got some milk
Okay,
from the pocket-sized dragon?
Yeah, Pocket Dragon. Yeah.
No, it's visible.
Okay.
You're just
Yes, I did.
Sent me text message, make sure.
I got that, and once we're role playing in the story, I will intersperse that as requested. So.
It's my sparkling personality.
Okay. So that's where we left off at, and then experience points. And everybody got experience points. We did that off camera and such because it was late and people had to go, and we got that done. But some people qualified for leveling up. Now, I want to talk about this a little bit, and this is house rules, and we want to share this with our audience members who are curious about role-playing games, about house rules and such. So house rules are stuff that's not written in the book, and this is what the game master and the players agree to be the rules that govern this particular campaign. And it may or may not apply to other campaigns. And house rules may change down the road. We may decide, that house rule just isn't quite working the way I thought it would. I'd like to change it. But it's really important as a game master, if you're going to use house rules, to have as much advance notice for your players as possible, and try to be as consistent as possible within the context of that particular campaign. You can have completely different house rules between group to group. That's your choice. but you want to keep the world and the setting and the rules for your particular adventure as consistent as possible. Especially if you have rules lawyers in the group, house rules cause a lot of anxiety for them. And you want to reduce anxiety for rules lawyers because otherwise they can be highly disruptive to the game. And
they won't have fun.
They won't have fun, and generally the more disruptive rules lawyers will make sure nobody else has fun because they will be so upset.
Ideally, we want everyone to have fun.
Everybody
rules
have
lawyers
fun.
are not.
And exactly. So we have a lot of different player archetypes that we talk about in other shows, and that's one of the many types. So what we had talked about in previous times we leveled up, the standard rule of and it depends on the class, but for every level you're going up, you have to do that number of weeks, X number of weeks of training, right, with your master. If you're a wizard, and you're going from first level to second level, you have to have 2 weeks with your wizard master to teach you new spell, whatever, and train. If you're a fighter or knight or whatever, you got to have, like the Cavalier in Honest Arcana has a very specific rules about training and who can train you, and it's very highly structured. Some of the other classes like Thief and such aren't as structured yet. They have Thieves Guilds and such, but they're a little more freeform on what you can train. But I want us to discuss appropriate to, because we're doing this also as an entertainment medium for others, not just the tabletop experience. So there might be a little bit of compression necessary. So normally it's 1 week for every level. And that's fine. I've done that for this campaign many times. There's pauses throughout the game where we can go, 3 weeks go by, you've trained up, you did this. Although it can be very hard to find masters and such for your different classes. That can be a real challenge. Not every game system requires that. I've run many different game systems for the same campaign, by the way. Non-D20 game systems. Rollmaster and GURPS and others. So different game systems have different rules. So I usually try to follow a more logical, rather than rules-bound, I try to use the rules as much as possible, but where they don't fit the campaign well, I go, okay, let's shave that off. That doesn't really fit this campaign. So in this case, it makes total sense that you would need someone to teach you a new skill. But if you have a good baseline skill and you're just improving it, you're out in the wild and you're doing it, we're going to kind of say, yeah, you're kind of learning on the fly and you're getting better and better and better at what you do. So existing skills keep improving, but you need some rest in between for that to benefit. So when you make level, we're going to say instead of week, we're going to say it's 1 day of uninterrupted rest. You're not fighting or something or traveling per level, to get the benefit from your class. Yes.
Quick question. And is that consecutive?
Consecutive, yes. It has to be consecutive and uninterrupted. So if you're going to third level, you need 3 full uninterrupted days without adventuring. And if you have to restart, you have to restart. I think it's a fair balance between the weeks long versus a few days. Yeah. Does that sound okay?
Depends on how hard you're riding us with an army. I mean...
As I said, you won't be running from an army much longer. Okay. You'll be running from many other things, but you won't be dealing with the army much longer. I mean, you'll be dealing with it for a few more weeks, but you'll have a much bigger things to deal with, literally. So I'm proposing this.
Please stop talking about the future.
As a possible house rule. As a possible house rule. That we instead of a week per, if it's an existing skill and it's a class that, if it makes sense that as a thief you just get better at it because you're doing it, great. However, he has an excellent example of where that's a problem. For example.
Okay then, I haven't made it yet, but at level 4, I'm supposed to have a 20% chance as a thief to read any particular language I come across. My character is illiterate and doesn't know anything besides common, and therefore that's highly unlikely.
It's impossible. Unless
you kill enough orcs. If you kill enough orcs, you can spontaneously learn a language. Isn't that how it works?
In Matt Vatsel's multiverse of the Gamers and Journey Quest, yes. Killing equals honor. In Glorian. If you haven't seen Journey Quest, go see Journey Quest. Not right now. After our show, go see Journey Quest. That's great. Yes, the more orc brains splatter on me, the more I learn. So, in the case where it's a new skill that has to be developed, you are going to have to find someone to teach you that. You will have to find a higher level thief, whatever is appropriate to the rules, like a 9th level thief or whatever. You're going to have to say, hey guys, I really I've been wanting to learn this for a long time. The next time we're in town or the next time I find somebody, or maybe an audience member can spend some hero points to have an encounter that might help. But you will have a discussion with the group, say, hey, I really need to find somebody to help me with this, and it'll help everybody here too.
If only we knew someone who was highly literate, good at reading, and possibly well-traveled, who knows multiple languages. If only there's someone in our party like that.
And in the case like that, there is a possibility. If there is somebody in the party that makes sense, once you're at that level, that might be something we can work out. I have done that with other groups where somebody says, I want to learn their language. They're both Northrunders. I want to learn their language. And I said, well, how much time are you going to spend each day doing that? And they're like, all right, well, we'll take an hour out of each day for them to teach me. And then, do the math. And like, okay, so in about 3 months, you'll be at, this basic level. And like in Rollmaster, everything's percentage-based, so it's a little easier to break down. I'm like, all right, let's give it a few months. If you spend a little bit of time each day, you're around them, you can learn a language as long as you have the intellectual capacity to learn more languages, as long as you haven't used up all your language slots. Otherwise, it just isn't sticking. It's like, man, I just keep getting jumbled with other languages.
And something else, because of my particular class, it stated that I know thieves can't, which is, I guess, a special language.
It's actually kind of sign language.
Okay. And
you do things
and
like
code
it's
words.
it's like baseball, like.
And so I can kind of simulate that while I'm a thief, I'm not actually a thief. I don't do thievy things.
Right.
So
You're
it's
sneaky.
Like, so do I get to have a free language slot because I miss out on that basic opportunity that was defined by my class? Can I have some other I have whistle, from the hill people where I'm like.
If you wanted to, I can be flexible with that. So if you wanted to have Hill's language or something like that, yeah, sure. You bet.
Okay, I'll totally write
Yes,
that
that
down.
would be very useful, I'm sure, as we travel further and further away from your home mountain.
Who knows?
But it could be good for him to teach us.
Never,
so that we
True. Could be
and
useful.
you never know who you'll run into on the road.
There are villages out there that
Right,
have the
audience
language.
members?
Yeah, and that's like I'm far away. You just hear. It's like, oh, there's 7 orcs approaching from the south,
Yeah.
and no one can eavesdrop that doesn't know my weird.
Since
little
when is there a
dialect from the
whippoorwill in this location? They don't exist.
It's really just kind of on and offs and shorts and longs. It was invented by your Uncle Morse.
Name's Samuel. So as
Last
far
name
as
Samuel.
getting enough experience with us, we have a couple multi-class characters in the group.
Mm-hmm.
Do you need to have enough experience points for both classes to go up simultaneously?
Nope. As one reaches it, then that one goes up, and then later the next one. However it happens. You don't have to alternate, it's just as you reach that threshold. Because they're supposed to be splitting their XP between the two.
Oh.
So 50% of my experience points goes to A, 50% to B.
That's the way you're supposed to do first edition. Yep.
Okay,
And
so that's
something that really increases the Farhad,
2,175.
since he's a fighter thief combination, and he has the backstab ability. I was reading in Assassins where it's like, oh, if you're going to do the special assassin tech, you roll in the whole other chart that's not the same as the backstabbing chart. So if he wants to backstab someone later in the game, and he has a higher chance of hitting because he is a warrior, his warrior levels, does he still get to be like, I'm backstabbing him with that higher percentage? Or it's like, no, you're using your warrior techniques and it doesn't count for your backstabs. Because they made some sort of differentiation that wasn't
mixed martial
well
arts.
defined in Assassin.
As far as I know, if he's doing a backstab attack, you use the thief backstab attack rules.
Okay.
As
As a
long
thief.
as I am wearing light armor,
Yeah.
leather armor.
Yeah.
If I'm dressed like a thief, I can do all the thiefy things.
Yeah. If he says he just attacks from behind, that's not the same as his thief backstab attack.
Okay then, but does he get to use his warrior, like his higher track of combat ability to hit, or does he have to use his?
Use his thief, because
Just
that's what
making
he's that's what he's using.
Okay.
Right, Joe?
Yeah. I mean, if I'm using my thief skills, I'm using my thief skills.
Yep.
If I'm using my fighter skills, I'm using my fighter
Okay.
skills.
Yep.
Darn. I wanted to murder people real good.
Yeah, you still can. They almost never see it coming.
Like if
No
you
one
watch
ever expects to get murdered.
If you watch Gamers, also from Zombie Rivers Entertainment, Matt Dansel, if you watch the original Gamers, you will see what Nimble the Thief does to make the backstab go impossibly horrific. Can we say splattered in an exploded beef stew? Backstab with a ballista? You want to backstab with a siege weapon? Aww.
It specifically states a light weapon melee.
Yes. But this was their version of the game. It was very funny. All right. So we are looking into it. What are we looking into? What?
So
I don't know. Okay.
I'll give you a first
So,
level, second level fighter.
For a new skill, you'll need to take a week per level with somebody training you.
Okay.
And that would be full all-day training. So we're talking a 16-hour day of training. Exhausting, intensive training. So if you wanted to learn a language from a party member, we could probably do the math on that. Say, okay, if it would take you for second level to learn that, then... And that's per week, then 16 hours a day, 7 days a week, times 2 weeks, do the math. Then we could estimate that at 1 hour a day throughout your adventure, eventually, a few months down the road, you would have some rudimentary language skills in that area. You wouldn't be fluent, but you would have some rudimentary skills that you could use.
Okay.
I have multiple groups in this campaign and others who the different characters have some different language speaking ability. And literally, one of the players started out with just rock. Rock. That was his level of Regnum Sapientium. And then he slowly learned more. And then that campaign had gone on for 2 years, and now he can actually say a little bit more. So, totally willing to be logical. Advanced Dungeons & Dragons 1st Edition doesn't spell everything out. It's not a skills-based system. So we have to be kind of flexible about that, unlike other systems that really spell it out.
Okay.
Does that make sense? So if it's a new skill, you need to find somebody to train you, somebody who's significantly higher level at it than you would be, and then that's going to be X number of weeks per level if it's a level-based thing.
And last question would be hit dice. We gotta wait for consecutive days, or do we get the hit dice?
You get to make your rolls immediately upon making level,
and then
but you don't gain the hit points till you get your rest.
Understood.
But you get your hit points right away.
All right.
As soon as you rest up, because you'll heal those hit points to your new maximum. But you need that rest, or if somebody casts heal on you, Yeah, you do get the hit points.
I need a good nap, and I'll get my one.
One, because you rolled a 1. Actually, didn't we say, John, there was some problem?
Off camera. Yeah.
There was a problem with his roll. Didn't you say that last week? There was a problem with his roll. We had to redo his roll.
There be a problem with my roll.
There was a problem. You said last week we needed to re-roll it. He had to re-roll. It was something wrong with his roll.
I do remember that.
Yeah.
We agreed we should do it.
Yep. Were you not here for that? We all agreed you needed to re-roll your hit point die.
Okay.
Because there was a technical problem.
Roll for it.
So grab a D4 and re-roll.
Okay.
Shake it.
Would you like to use this?
Make it nice and random.
Watch it somehow be worse than the one.
Worse than the one. 0 points on the 4-sided die.
He's having a conversation with it. He's a dice whisperer.
3.
All right.
Nothing.
All right, then. So I guess I roll a D6 because I level as a thief. Here we go. 1, 3.
All right. There you go. Nicely done. And Joe, we already did yours, right? Last week, your hit points.
No, he didn't.
Oh, well then let's point the camera so we can see the roll. Point the camera in advance.
Yeah. I'm working on it.
Okay.
How many dice you rolling? What?
Hey,
All of them.
Dad, his green screen's not green
And a
screening.
pencil sharpener.
You Dad chroma to him.
I had it off when you were.
Okay. Yeah.
Bring it back.
All on the floor.
You got to point the camera down for us anyway.
I'm working on it. Wow. Off the table.
It's a 6.
6.
Nice.
6.
Good. All right. There we go.
Weevil.
Weevil needs to roll.
Yep. Weevil has enough experience points when he split him to raise his fighter to second level, and the only benefit he gets is the die 10.
Okay.
One question.
Hang on, Joe. 3. All right. He got 3. Okay, go ahead, Joe.
Because I'm multi-class,
Yes.
thief and fighter, do
Oh,
I get all of it or half of it?
that's right. You got to split it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
I get my.
It's in half.
I roll the right hit
Right.
die, and then I have it.
Up.
Yes, round up. We'll round up. We'll be nice and round up.
Well,
Because
since 1 would be 0 if you rolled.
Exact. Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
and 3 would be 1.
So round up.
All right.
We all got 3
You
health.
get a point and a half.
And 9 hit points instead of 7. But it currently
Every
has
little bit.
7 till I heal.
Prevents you from dying.
Hey,
terribly.
I'm up to
Yes.
I'm up to 7, so
We're even. No, you're up to what I used to be.
So, does that make sense now to everybody as far as what we've discussed there?
Yeah,
Okay.
just
And if we
forward.
decide that's not working, then bring it up and say, hey, Alec, I don't think this is quite working right. Can we do something else? So, that's the process of adding some new house rules. And my pencil's about to run out.
Is this covered in the Dungeon Master's Guide? How to divide the experience points? Because it's not in the player's handbook.
Do you mean divide the hit points?
Divide the hit points, divide the experience points for the multi-class characters.
I couldn't find anything
I'm
about
pretty sure it's
leveling
in
up.
there for the player's handbook.
Because all I read in the player's handbook about multi-class characters was these are the possible combinations you can do and why they're cool. But that's it.
It's spread out over the whole book on several different sections and pages.
That's
So
what
it helps
it's
if you have a PDF version, you can just search it.
got it. I mean, it sounds like what I remember doing. It just couldn't find it to save my life.
It's the traitor.
All right. Anybody else need to finish leveling up?
All right.
I don't know what else I can do. I
But
know I get a
that's
spell,
until
but I have
higher
to
level.
learn it, so
I will gladly teach you.
That's when he's like 4th level.
I don't
He
know what
doesn't
else
need that for
I do to
2 more
level up.
levels.
Do with leveling up.
So you might want to give him those. Say
I
thank
I
you.
teach you spoon.
But you might
I
want
don't
to give
know
those
if I
points
get
back
any,
for
other
now.
skills.
Yeah, yeah.
Teach myself to read from the book? Yes.
That
And
yeah, he
doesn't
can't
get
learn that
cantrips or
until
just
he's at
spells?
4th level.
See?
But
Now?
thank you very much for this.
So,
So you just had an audience member who tried to spend their hero points to get you a trainer.
Aww.
But you got to be 4th
Give it
level
one
first.
time.
So that was very nice of you. Thank you. That was very kind.
Although a trainer doesn't make me literate.
I think River could
Trying
probably
to
do that.
be relatively useful.
That's
Or
RAW.
probably
Rules of
Yeah.
I could teach you.
But that would be totally
random
appropriate when
language
he's
like Pengu.
eligible for 4th level.
Okay.
That would be the time to do
May
it.
allow you
I'm
to
waiting
learn
for when
additional-
I
that
can
will
teach you
be.
Orcish.
That
I
will-
would say 4 to 1.
Or I could teach you Japanese.
Okay.
There's just multiple alphabets.
Yes, John.
So, rules is
On a
written.
day, so you
You don't learn any new cantrips ever again because you're supposed to have given them up.
Right, they're left over from your apprenticeship days. That's
Right.
correct.
But if somebody wanted to
Yeah,
add,
you can trade in 1 spell for 4 new cantrips.
Mhm.
You bet, because they're fun. Cantrips are awesome.
Well, they give you more-
Most people don't.
They
Most
give you
people,
more
when you have that option, most people won't. But I'm happy to allow that.
Well, I'm just looking forward to having 2 spell slots because
In a single
then I
day,
can
yeah.
then I can have 4 cantrips prepared
Oh,
to use and 1 full-on spell.
Okay,
So that
yeah,
way
yeah.
I have a total of 5 things I can do, with one of them being
Yeah.
one of my fancier things. That before, if
Yeah.
I use that, it'd be
Yeah.
yep, I'm
Yeah.
done.
Yep.
I'm
Yep.
useless now.
In all honesty,
Yeah,
if
that's me over
I
here.
could give up a year of my time to learn a single level of magic user to cantrip that lets you kill
Yeah.
bugs.
Yeah.
Oh my god, yes, I would do that.
Okay.
Like, that's the most useful thing I've ever. Like, if you could bottle that, think how rich you'll become. I'm like, I'm level 2, and I have all the gold because I just travel around selling. Like,
Exterminating bugs.
Yes.
Exterminator.
You're level 2
Exterminate.
pest remover.
All right.
I fund my own
So,
military because
You 4 people, well, you 3, are going to work on leveling up. What do you have to do to level up besides your hit points, which you just rolled? Anything?
All right then. For my character, no, I would get
Percentages. Don't you have percentage
I have
increases in your
percentages
thief
that go
skills?
up.
Okay.
Pretty much, I looked them up. I guess we can just say I learned those after 3 days. Will that be it?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, if you get 3 days of rest, then you bump up to your new percentages.
Okay, then. So I have a slight bump across the board and lots of thieving skills, most of which I don't
Or-
know how to do.
You're 2nd level. Are you 2nd or 3rd
I'm
level?
3rd level now.
Okay, then update
Oh.
that.
Update
Yeah, so when you get a 3-day break where you actually get proper rest, then those will
Yeah.
bump up.
Yeah.
What if you get 3 days of rest non-consecutively?
No, it's got to be consecutive. We talked about that. It's got to be consecutive.
What if you did
That's the compromise.
what if
3
you had
weeks,
What if you had 6 days not
or it
consecutive?
could be 3 weeks. or 3 days.
Stop arguing while you're ahead.
That's where the compromise comes in. So and
3
again,
hours. 3 hours.
Yeah, I'm sure glad I stayed here for 3 days to get 1% better at timing.
well, maybe
Actually,
out
that
there
might be good for
practicing.
me.
Yeah. All right. So you're done then already?
Yeah, besides the health points and waiting 3 days to say I have slightly better percentiles. Done.
And as far as spellcasters go, like arcane spellcasters like magic users, illusionists, as far as new spells, if you don't have a master, make sure you're gathering up scrolls and books that you can transcribe and such, and add them to your spell book so you can learn new spells.
Two
that way.
spellcasters teaching each other.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whatever method to try to find more spells. That's the quest for illusionists and magic users all the time. For divine types like druids and clerics and such, they get it from their deities or nature or whatever. So
Does that count as a new skill to learn a spell, as in the weeks level, or is that can you learn a new spell in 3 days?
So with the magic user illusionist types, it doesn't matter how much you sit there and practice. If you don't have access to a new spell on a scroll or a spell book or something, you don't have a new spell.
Right.
Unless you have a master, right, who can teach you.
Mm-hmm.
So, but if you have a spell book if you have a spell book with extra spells, I think for magic it's going to have to be the weeks thing. I think because that's really tough, really difficult. That's going to be new skills. Even new spells are going to be tough.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's appropriate. You could learn
Good
it.
thing we started as soon as I met you.
And also even with the cleric and such, having to pray for weeks on end to show devotion to their deity that they really are worthy of a new spell and such. I think that's or druids with nature and such. I think something because those are pretty powerful and those are new skills.
Say that. You say that as though the deity has been watching all of the time.
Yeah.
Omniscient.
Well, no, that's the thing. They won't bother to give them a new spell unless they really binge, or fast binge. Well, I guess it depends on the deity.
What did dedicate
That's
all
why
the
my
orcs you're
deity
slaying
is
in their
nice.
hands?
Yes.
All I have to do is dance and sing and drink. And eat.
Yes.
Good.
But you have to do it for 3 weeks straight. Right.
Can you stay drunk for 3 weeks and live?
It's called a binder.
Bender, yeah.
No, afterwards, it's going to be winding.
No, it won't.
All right. Okay, so that's where we're at.
know.
I guess we don't. The only thing is, I need a little more time to prep with John for some of the NPCs here, because as I said, I just got back from this road trip and I've been scrambling to try to get ready. And I'm really not fully prepared. This is a pivotal moment in this campaign. This is the key area where you guys are going to meet some of the key people. There's some heavy role playing just to get through this. You may or may not get to the lady in this session. You are at Kasarnik. Whether or not you get to the lady in this session depends on how you role play it. And John needs to be brought into the loop on some key NPCs here that I have not had time to finish bringing him into the loop. So I had hoped we'd be able to kill a little time while I brought John up, doing the leveling up. But it looks like that's not quite where we're going to be an issue. Can
I level up
we...
my
Let me ask you guys, now that you've arrived, are you guys going to go in...
Free, and that would
Yeah.
take some time.
Are you guys going
that
to
would be
go?
lots of time.
That would make people who worked so hard to get there so happy, wouldn't it? Now that you guys are here and you see the villages there, what did you want to do next? Let's figure out what you guys wanted to do.
All right, then.
Work with this. So you're
Moisha
there.
needs to unburden himself.
Well, that's what we got the mule for.
So you're all standing there. The light is beaming on the village and the house. Yeah.
It's only a bottle.
It's only a ball. Yes. Oh, it's a silly place. Let's go somewhere else. Yes. So you're standing all up here at this here. You can see a couple of farmhouses up ahead where the road meets. This is the North Traders, trader as in trading goods, road.
Traders Road.
Yeah. Queens Road divides it between the North Traders Road and the South Traders Road. So Farhad, of course, you know all this. And so this is the North Traders Road because you're just north of the Queens Road. The road you were on is kind of a no-name road from Lutein, which goes straight into Kasarnik or joins the Traders Road. As I said, you guys are here. You were when you came up on this hill and you're looking at it, I think you were, about a mile away? Is that what I think I said you guys were at a mile away?
about right.
Yeah. So you're about a mile away from these Farmhouse is right here at the edge. So, and the sun's about to set. You do notice there's to the north, no clouds, no fog. The sky, the stars are starting to come out to the north and such of here. Everything south and west of you is all, clouds and fog, etc. But north of here, it's just clear sky. What do you guys do?
Well, we want to get into the village quickly because we want to check that save point.
Yeah.
No video gaming in my tabletop role-playing game. That's part of why I don't like 5th edition.
You just like
sometimes.
keep fun.
Other ways I like it. Yeah. Thanks. I like it. All right.
Quick question.
Yes.
Could we level up our proficiencies at all?
That's
skills?
usually you have to get a 3rd or 4th level for that.
Okay.
Usually.
I was just wondering because
You will.
I've got alertness and direction sense,
Yeah.
and I've been running and watching out for people behind me for the past 3 weeks.
So if they're existing proficiencies and you want to put your points into improving your, because remember you can put more points in to make it better.
Mm-hmm.
If you're just improving it, then it's the same rule. It's a day per, right? So if you're putting 1 point, if it's cost 2 points, it'll take 2 days, whatever. We'll call that good. But if it's a new one, you got to have somebody train you, whatever. That's going to take you that. You've got to do the full week's approach. So I think we'll just be consistent about that.
Okay. Oh, because I was wondering, since I have a war horse and so far it's thrown Farhad, so if I end up riding it and I ride it like for an extended period of time as we travel and do things, can I then have I take the riding skill because it's been months of riding my horse?
Yes, that would be an appropriate use of your points. That's a much better way to represent something like that.
Let's make sure.
It's just not everybody.
I don't need to go.
Not every situation allows for that. Yeah.
Okay.
I'd be totally okay with that.
Okay then.
Yeah. I appreciate that. That would be good in story representation.
Lady Gianera.
Dranera.
I feel like my direction sense and alertness has definitely gone up since we
Yes.
Port Valcross.
Certainly your vigilance.
Yes.
Also known as PTSD. Yeah, certainly your vigilance has gone up. Whether or not you're any better at it, that's debatable. But you are certainly more vigilant. All
I
right.
bet you Lady Gianera lives up on that hill up there.
I'm so
Pointed
stressed. I
big
think
manor
Badgers
house.
talk to me.
Okay, so
Yeah. I say we just go right there, get her this here scroll, and get on out of here. Or wait, we're just gonna have us do something. Go on wherever she says. That's what we're gonna do. Yeah.
Well, we'll have to see if we can find out who would know where to find her.
We could just go
We
up
know-
to the house.
We know she's well known around here, but nobody's ever said that was
from
that
where
was
you
her
guys
house.
are, you can't see
Just
any
that
of
that's just that everybody would know.
From where you guys
who she
are, you
was
just see
and-
this house is on the top of a 500-foot cliff, and behind it an even higher cliff. So you don't even see how to get up to that house.
Well, certainly, being a lady should be the most important person in town.
So we have our gnome has become a southern woman.
Or a southern mouse. Because science. There you go.
There you
Down
go.
in
There
the
you
voice.
go. There you
All
go.
right.
You gotta get the nasal down.
Yes.
Yeah.
There you go.
That's the ticket. And
Also, if this cat's starting to stink, I should there's probably some trappers or something over by the watering hole, and I can get that, and I can maybe find out where the Lady Gianera is. It's probably up in that. I mean, come on, look at that. She has a lady in front of her now.
It's most
Come on.
likely in the big house, but
Yes.
but assumptions when it comes to the primary goal of our entire mission,
That's some big words, but I think I know what
do
you're
you
saying.
want to do? Go
Nice
search
to-
every house?
not just say, just talk to someone.
So,
There's got to be an inn or a pub or a restaurant or a blacksmith or somebody who knows what's going on in this town.
Well, we heard that everybody in town would know this person, so all I got to do is go up to anybody.
I don't know about that. I don't know about much of anything.
But
Oh.
we can send the human up to ask anybody.
I think we should try to get our own accommodations first, and then call on the lady when we are fresh.
Yeah,
As
I wouldn't
someone
mind that,
who has
actually.
Expert skills in etiquette and negotiations. I think it's best if we clean the road off of ourselves and appear to Lady Dranera in the finest way we have to offer.
All right, I'm with him.
All right then. Plus, this cat, it's not smelling any better. So I
I'm
should
Yeah,
sorry
maybe-
about the cat.
You just
I'm
sell the cat
sorry about the
first,
cat.
and then we go
Yeah.
and stay somewhere.
That
I
sounds
don't
great.
know
Let's
what
go do
took
that.
over me. I'm sorry about the cat.
Why? It's worth a gold. I mean, you used to have what's a gold worth nowadays? Like 4 silver.
There was no reason to kill the cat.
Well, it was
The
hurt.
cat had it coming. He knew what he did.
It was a catastrophe.
I don't know about this adventuring thing. It killed a man. It killed a cat for no reason. The man, at least. The man was gonna die anyway. But we could have let the cat go.
The cat was injured, though.
Well, no, you see, it's actually a paw snare. It doesn't really injure them so much as trap them when you can't get them. Then you come and kill them. That way, if it's not a cat, it'll be something else you just want dead.
But you used a Rottweiler to do it. That's a little bit sturdier than your average.
The cat was not
hemp
maimed.
twine.
No.
Cat was
Oh,
not
okay.
maimed.
Yeah.
Never mind then. I thought it had dug into the skin a bit.
A
No,
little,
it's not
not
that
bad.
strong. It's more like
Yeah.
he can't do the not to
It
himself.
wasn't
yeah.
that bad.
I mean, I figured it'd be fine. Would have lived, but yeah. Anyway.
Oh, come on. We'll split. It'll be fine.
Once we caught it, it was making quite a noise that could have brought more dangers to us.
Okay.
Everything will be better in the light of the morning. Let's find ourselves some lodgings, clean the road from our backs, and set off early in the morning to find the lady.
All
I
right.
could use with a good bath.
Oh yes, a bath, aye.
Oh, yeah. Bad.
And some
That's
good
right.
food.
Warm water.
Weevil, as our leader, who do you assign to go in and find us lodgings?
Well, of course, the pretty ones. Oh,
Well,
I mean
all
these
right, I'll
two.
No, I have a comeliness of 8. What do you think that?
I'm a gnome, and judging human standards, what?
I'm 14.
Right then.
I'm hot.
For enough.
But you two are the most human-looking ones.
Well,
No,
To everybody else,
Fine.
oh, isn't he cute?
Well, if you cover up his ears, though.
Yeah,
He's also foreign, so that.
yeah.
But then she's foreign too. But
I'm
she's
very
a female.
foreign.
But she's a female, so
I'm not
people
sure
are
if
going to be
that
less concerned.
Unless they
just,
think she's a witch.
just based on medieval sensibilities.
Hey, you got gold on you?
Yes, I do.
Okay, because I kind of think I might have spent it up on that candy.
Okay.
Oh,
yeah.
well.
Right, you did. That's right.
I think we just left a pile of gold back at that bar.
No, he split up into 4th, so all of y'all would have grabbed some. I wouldn't have.
Okay.
All right, then. So it sounds like
Wait, what?
you split up the gold that you had.
I gave a pile for everybody.
Yeah, 4
Yes.
piles. There's 6 of us. And you.
I gave 5 piles,
Well, I wouldn't have picked it up anyway.
and I already.
So it's a
I
pile
told you
of gold.
to.
I never went inside the barn because I had horses.
A horse.
Well, then on my way out, I would have picked it up for you. So
Yes.
whether I give it to you or not, we'll see.
No, we've already gone over this. Blood money, get ghosts. All right.
Want the
then.
cat be blood money?
What? No, it's a cat.
It's
Okay.
fur
This is
money.
what trapping is.
Okay.
You go, you find him, you hit him in the head with a rock, take the skin off of him, and well, you do some things, and then you take it down to the local, trade hub, and you get some gold for it. Life goes on. It's like you're gonna sit here and cry anytime you ate meats, or anytime that you step on a plant. It's like, oh, the plant died. And it's like,
Okay, point taken.
I mean, killing a man, I could see that just weighing you down. I mean, I don't even want to think about none. The cat's cat.
Okay.
Moisha, don't
So I
worry
take
about
the,
the cat. You're one of the kindest people I've met.
Thank you. I still don't know what came over me. I'll try not to kill any of our cats.
What?
unless they need it.
Rest easy, Cat
No.
Slayer.
No, no,
The
no.
bravest among us.
All right then.
No. We're still killing that other cat when we see it. The first time we see that
stinky one?
that smelly cat, we're gonna chop its head off, because there's no other way that anyone could have found us if they weren't somehow told by that cat.
Hey, Farhad, you want to come too?
I may as well.
All right. So
Don't forget to cover your ears.
So I lead both Dobson and Leon with me.
Leon is the light warhorse that you got from the soldiers.
So
Dobson is the mule.
So what is a light warhorse as opposed to medium or heavy? Like it's just how
They
are.
They're larger in size. They're slower. The bigger ones are slower, but they also they can handle different armor. Light warhorse typically only has a leather barding.
Okay.
A medium warhorse typically has chain barding, and a heavy warhorse typically has plate barding. And a heavy warhorse is a big, massive, like Clydesdale size horse, just massive. The light warhorse tends to be faster. It's lighter cavalry, lighter armor, better speed, more maneuverable.
And it refracts when it runs through a prism.
Yes, light. Yes, yes.
Sorry,
Yes. Yes.
Sometimes
my sinuses have been.
It splits into
compressed
7
lately.
unicorns.
Joe said something.
I'm sorry, Joe. What was that?
Sometimes a light warhorse acts as a particle.
Yes. Or it waves.
All right then.
A particle
So
horse.
where are we going to meet you at? Yeah, I say to them as we're leaving, those short little jigget non-humans. Hey, wasn't a torn voice. Can't hold it against me.
Repeat. Sorry.
Where are we going to meet you at after we get the housing or the have to get a hold up?
Well, we can just stay here at the end of town.
All right.
So we're down there.
Yeah, you're like boop, a mile.
Yeah.
We get. We'll meet you at the crossroads there.
All right. Don't let no one sees you. And we
So
head
why would we go to the crossroads where people would see us rather than stay here where we are and have them come back and get us?
Well, we're further away. And it's a landmark, and I'm not really concerned with people seeing me. I've got a hood.
You look like a child. I look like a dwarf.
Yes, but just keep to yourself. Nobody will pay that much attention to you if you're not doing anything.
Says the child. Very well.
So we walk into town.
So you two are gonna head
Don't
into
worry.
town.
Farhad.
Farhad and Torn are gonna start
River.
walking to town.
Farhad, Torn, and River.
And River.
The
Okay,
three
so
of us.
3 of you.
And Farhad, do you bring Kevin? Are you on Kevin?
2.5 humans.
Okay, are you on Kevin?
Yeah, I'll take Kevin.
And you're on
1.5 humans.
I'm walking with.
Oh, so you're not leaving
with,
Kevin home alone?
Dobson.
Leon and Dobson.
You're okay. You're just leading Leon and
Yes,
Dobson.
yes, because so far.
Nobody else can.
Yeah, keep
Yes.
it up, you can get a pen
Oh, the
in your
mule.
face.
The mule's cooperative, isn't it?
Oh, it hasn't thrown anyone yet, but I don't think anyone's tried to ride.
No, but maybe River could be leading your mule.
Okay.
There's 3 of you.
Eh?
That's fine. If you want to lead 2 horses, a mule and a horse. That's
Okay.
Okay. All right.
River
You're the porter
is-
boy.
Animals. No.
Okay. All right. Cool.
It's not happening.
All right. So the 3 of you, are you like 3 abreast in single file, 2 in 1? How are you guys walking down the road?
Well, I'm
It's just
walking
really a
between 2
trail.
animals, so.
Yeah. Well, you got 2 animals behind you on leads.
Yeah. So I'll probably bring up the rear.
Okay. Farhad and River.
I'll take points.
Okay. You'll be in the middle then.
Yeah.
All
that's
right.
what I
And
expect.
just
Are you
single
riding
file.
or leading your horse?
All right.
I'll ride.
I need to take a few minutes to talk to John to prep him for what happens next.
Okay.
Oh boy.
I have no way around. Otherwise, I'm going to take away his opportunity to NPC.
Would this be a good time to take our traditional break?
Well, I hate
early?
throwing the schedule off too much. And he just left.
Yeah.
Easy.
He needed to
Emergency
yeah,
take a
I
break,
understood.
so
I understood.
we may as well.
All right. Well, then we will take a 10. Let's see. Yeah. Once we hit the mark there, a 10-minute break. We're a little bit early on the break here. Apologies for that. Again, road trip kind of threw things out of kilter. Actually, let's make a 20-minute break. Let's start at 7:30. It's coming up at 7:10 right now, and we'll be back at 7:30
All right.
Pacific time. So we'll be back in 20 minutes. All right.
assemble.